Okay, so this Planned Parenthood employee is having a detailed conversation with a 15-year-old girl, not about how to plan for parenthood, but instead how to plan for role play, bondage, S&M, you know, some kink, and anal sex.
I think what's happening. Propaganda.
Oh, come on. This is a good, healthy, private conversation to have with someone else's kid. Way better than the conversation I would have with your kid if they just showed up and said, "Hi, nice to meet you, Zo. Can we talk in private about sex?" I'd be like, "Sure. What do you want to know about being married?" No, I want to talk about sex and things like role play. Of course you do. How about you play the role of a spouse first? But I want to know about bondage. I am telling you about bondage, the bonds of holy matrimony. But I want to know about submission. Okay, well, wives, be submissive to your husbands, and husbands, give yourselves completely to your wives, as Christ gave himself to the church. By the way, why is it that many secularists think it's cool to express yourself sexually with submission, but when the Bible talks about mutual loving submission, it's warped and out of touch? But Zo, I want to know about sadomasochism. I'm drawing a blank, I must admit. Oh wait, I know. Consider being a spouse first. And in the meantime, if you're interested in inflicting or receiving pain, get in a paintball or martial arts class or something. Just don't do it as a fetish. Yeah, shoot me hard with your paintballs. Now, of course, this Planned Parenthood employee is just proud of the service that she thinks she's offering. She's enlightened, and she's blessing this girl with her erotic edifications, which again have nothing to do with parenting, considering that the facility is called Planned Parenthood. So I figured she should have closed the door on that conversation several questions ago. Not close the door on the girl, but on the conversation she kept widening the door for, until even the subject of anal sex showed up. "Hi there, I'm anal sex. I heard you guys are talking about me. I'm told I can be a real pain, but you'll get used to me." I marvel at adult figures taking it upon themselves and thinking they're doing a great service to talk to someone else's kid about sex, thinking they're giving them great advice. She thinks she's being responsible with telling her how to role play and making sure she knows the safety protocols of anal sex in case her boyfriend wants to play the role of mud skipper. You want to give a kid great advice about sex? Tell them to wait until they're married. Yeah, but I look at all the divorces. Marriage must not be so great. And I don't want to marry somebody who's lousy and inexperienced in the sack. Yeah, marriage itself is not the problem. One of the biggest killers of marriage is selfishness. Another thing is going into a marriage imposing sexual expectations on your spouse. Expectations you started developing as a kid. And many people carry those childish fantasies and expectations about sex into their relationships and marriage, which adds to the formula of failure. When you base your relationship with such a focus on sex, it kind of gets in the way of y'all being friends. Friends are patient with each other. A couple that's really in love can dig getting married and growing into sexual experts with each other. But a lot of times marriages fail because people are duped into believing that it's cool that their spouse is supposed to be experienced and knows how to get busy. And if they aren't and fail to meet the expectations of the other spouse, then the marriage is busted. And they'd rather hang it up and deal poorly with their hang-ups than hang on and learn with each other. And on the other hand, some people think they want somebody who has all this experience because they're selfish, and they just want somebody who's an expert in making them feel good. That's a selfish and rotten mindset to go into a marriage with. And of course, despite all that experience talk that people think they want their future spouse to have, marriages break up because you start to resent all that experience your spouse has. It grows into resenting your spouse because your ego can't handle it. That's natural. It contributes to the erosion of marriages, which often leads to divorce. And this is going to accelerate thanks to people like this Planned Parenthood employee who, as an adult, welcomes the conversation of leading kids into things they will regret. Kids don't need an adult for that. We weren't little angels in my generation either. And the generation before me were no better. And so on. We kids talked about sex. We played truth or dare. We played spin the bottle. We played hide and go get it. And we had music that was sexually charged. I was a huge fan of Prince and the Revolution. His lyrics were laden with obscenities. The movies had a lot of TNA. And as harmless as those things seemed, the effects of those keep mounting, as many people are getting divorced. more teens get pregnant, and so on. But in my day, it was just catching on where the adults got into the fashion of sexual exploration with kids. Now the weeds of teachers and employees at Planned Parenthood have grown, and they think they're doing them a service by telling them how to have responsible sex and are choking the children, while the adults are sadly thinking they're liberating them. They're helping them to pack the baggage these kids are gonna be burdened with. But of course, Planned Parenthood is there to help you unpack that bag, if you dig what I mean, and then replace that with another kind of baggage, right? I'm Alfonso Rachel with ZoNation, and no matter how responsible this Planned Parenthood employee thinks she's being, it's irresponsible to assume you're being responsible by telling a kid how to be responsible with doing something irresponsible. It doesn't add up. Kids having sex is irresponsible. Was I one of those kids? Yes. Was it fun? Yes. Was it really being cool or responsible? No. Mud skipper.